Sick. Yeah. What is your favorite piece of gear that you have in your studio? Because your studio is like you made like a studio tour video as well that I've seen, and you also do like a lot of collabs with like Adobe. But yeah, what is some of your favorite pieces of gear that you have acquired over the years?
Yeah, the Panasonic mixer, the MX50A. I've also got the MX30, and that is like my favorite. It changed everything, being able to input everything into it and also input it into itself to create an internal feedback loop. It's like such a powerful tool and just allows me to have all this stuff hooked up at once, which is so valuable. That's probably like really up there. I've been really loving this new like that 8-inch JVC $100 monitor I was mentioning before. I bought another one, so I've got 2 hooked into this system. It's a really good characteristic look. It's really high resolution, but is small, and so it's just like super compact. I can like bring it along with me if I go to the cottage and need to do some work. Like it's such a versatile little machine. Yeah, so those are definitely the 2 on the top of my list. I would love to have this 1-inch reel-to-reel like working properly, but it's such a complicated thing to get a good signal to, so I want to say that one, but I haven't actually run anything on it yet.
Gotcha. It just looks cool right now.
It just looks cool in the studio.
I'll take that. Yeah, I feel like that's a big problem with trying to get like your first CRT as well, is like finding one that's like compact enough, because like you get these giant ones and it just takes like 80% of your office, and it's just like big, bulky on the back. So yeah, those monitors are definitely like nice, especially just the fact that you can like stack them and things like that.
Totally.
Yeah,
definitely recommend that size for like the 8 to 12 inch for this kind of work.
And how are you tracking down like these very specific, like, because none of this stuff is like, they don't manufacture this stuff anymore. It's like very niche and very just kind of like how, first of all, I guess how are you doing the research to find out what kind of stuff that you need for this, and like how are you just always on eBay, or like, you know, or is there like a big community in your area that's kind of like also into this niche, I guess?
Another shout out to just Retro Preservation, Hamza there. He is always on this stuff and has storage lockers full of them. He's more into like the tape deck stuff, and so that's my guy for that stuff. He's quicker than me on Facebook Marketplace and whatnot, and so he scoops this stuff up right away, and he's putting together like a like museum with another guy right now with all this stuff, and so he's like the Indiana Jones of like retro gear. He's super saying it belongs in a museum, like very much like collecting all that stuff. And but yeah, my social media like guilty pleasure of choice is Facebook Marketplace, and so every day I'm drawn to that, and I've recently like had to put a stop to it because I buy way too much stuff. And that's the research: is you buy it, you plug it in, you use it. Does it work? Sell it or get rid of it or give it away. That's like there's no way of knowing how a CRT performs until it's in your hands, until you're sending a signal into it. So hard to. I've done a lot of trying to research stuff and asking communities what's the best S-video CRT, and people are just so opinionated on the stuff. So you really need to just like grab your own and get it going. But yeah, it's funny because I've like caught myself going on Facebook like reels and like meme stuff, which are like the worst place for like those kinds of things. Like they're always so like cringy and like funny in this wrong way, and like it's funny that Facebook has weirdly become one of my bigger platforms just because of the proximity near those CRTs.
That's funny. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I feel like, especially with those communities, they're crazy. Like even like with that tapeless build, like people shit on that power play like digital, and it's just crazy. It's just like it's so convenient and compact, but like some of those communities can get a little bit crazy. But what are like, so you're saying you don't know like, you know, how the CRT works until you have it in your hands. Like how often are you just ordering something off eBay and it's just like, oh, this doesn't work at all? Because like, you know, do you have someone who you know that like repairs this old tech? Have you like looked into that, or is it kind of just like if it doesn't work then I just have to scrap it?
Yeah, it's kind of like there are fixes, and a lot of people do like recaps of CRTs where they go in and they resolder on like every capacitor on the board, and it's like there are people who are really into that. I probably will start to go into that line of work once the well of CRTs, working CRTs, starts to run dry. But I don't really like my M Squared Circuits here in Toronto is really sick for he's really good at repairing audio gear, and so a lot of the stuff is quite similar. He's just like a whiz with a soldering iron, and so he's my guy if ever anything really important breaks, but most of the time I'm just buying something new.
Interesting.
Are you buying these from just like garage sale, like type of like just like anybody who just happens to have one?
Facebook Marketplace is like the spot, because shipping these things is really expensive, often as much as the things themselves.
They might damage too.
Yeah, there's some horror stories of people's CRTs just coming in shattered. The shipping system is not designed for these heavy, like, built things anymore. They're just tossing stuff around. I've ordered just that JVC monitor on eBay. It's like my only eBay purchase, but I'm in the market for a new like VGA old computer monitor right now, because mine started to go, and I really loved the look of it. I did the latest, like the Wolfpack like lyric video, and I just, one of my favorite looks. It, like, doesn't look like a CRT. It's like super flat and like clean, and so like it's another category that I miss from my studio right now, and so I'm considering dipping into the eBay well.
Nice.
A lot of tools. I was gonna see. So you said you had some success on TikTok and Instagram, and you've accumulated this following, and you've said you've just got like a plethora of work from like Instagram directly. Yeah. How important do you think was like documenting your process versus just posting your work? Because like if you look at your Instagram, there's not just like, there is a lot of like logo work and like these amazing logos that just pop out on the platform, but I've also found you from just you showing your process, like, hey, I'm gonna and like you just in your office, like what would you account, like what do you think, like what do you think was more important, like documenting that process or posting your work?
Yeah, I mean, you got to post the finished stuff, because that's like the whole thing. That's the art. Like Ginger Root just did a video on being like, hold on, like let's stop doing process videos, because like just let the thing breathe and live in its own light. And so I've been doing less of them as of late, just because I'm very busy and it's hard to also make a video. But I would say it was like 90% of the reason why I'm where I'm at right now. It was very inspired by my brother, who was making fantastic music, like awesome albums, and he was pouring his heart into them, and he would spend like months on this album and then put it out, and nobody would listen to it. It would just sit on Spotify, and it would get like a couple thousand views, and he was just like kind of crushed from that. And then one day he decided, how do I show like the making of this? And so he started making these beat videos where he would bring out the shaker that's on the song and show himself shaking it as it comes in, right when it comes in, and you see it and your mind goes, oh, I hear it now. Like you can kind of like really appreciate every single minute sound, because they were really rich, large like musical pieces with all these different cool world percussion and stuff, and you can't see that in the album. Like, you have to see it with your eyes, and so I always kind of like had the plan to like, what is each element, what you're looking at here. Here's the graphic design element, here's the animation element, here's the processing element, and it really helps you see the thing at the end. And I run my mouth a lot more than my brother does. My brother's quiet guy. He just makes his beats and bobs his head, and instead I'm kind of like, look at the CRT, look at all the cool things on it. And so I think like it's a different type of video, but I was definitely very inspired by the making of process of his beat videos.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a good way to start as well. Like if you can document the process, and and then if you get to the point where you can just show the work and let the work speak for itself, and then educate when you feel you want to, you know, because I definitely even just like the collabs and like tutorial type things you've done with like Photoshop and like Adobe. So those have been super sick to see. And yeah.
Always helpful to give a little tip, I think. Just share the sauce. My brother he's got like his little quote. He's like, anybody who's afraid to give away their sauce must have a limited amount. So he's just like, if you're scared to show your process, you're probably afraid you're gonna run out of ideas. But nobody runs out of ideas. Humans are good at making shit up.
I feel like sharing the sauce also helps you just come up with, like, push yourself further, you know, like anytime I've shared like on a YouTube video or something like that, I feel like it's pushed me to like in my creative process to, you know, reach a little further, because I feel like you stay comfortable with your sauce, you know, you're just reusing the same thing over and again, and then you like, you know, I don't know if you felt the same way, but
once you show it, now you're like, okay, how do I level this up now, kind of thing.
Yeah.